Hello, beautiful people. It's Sinderfam. Welcome to the channel. Today we're back again with another video, and this is from Pink Book Lessons. We're gonna be checking this, and is about Sunny Hostin's husband. Sunny Hostin from The View. So lots of us or lots of people are already familiar with Sunny Hostin's husband's RICO case or RICO case at this point. And yeah, we're gonna be checking this together to hear what Pink Book Lessons or what they've got to say on here. Let's check it out.
Sunny Hostin, co-host of The View, often projects an image of high moral ground, doing the right thing and following the law of the land. But now her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, finds himself in serious legal trouble. Dr. Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon, is facing allegations of federal insurance fraud in one of the largest RICO lawsuits ever filed in New York. The case, which includes nearly 200 defendants, accuses Dr. Hostin and others of engaging in a scheme to defraud an insurance company. According to the lawsuit filed by American Transit Insurance, Dr. Hostin allegedly performed unnecessary medical procedures on patients injured in minor car accidents. The suit claims these procedures were done to maximize insurance payouts under New York's no-fault law. That law requires insurance companies to cover up to $200,000 in medical costs for accidents involving taxis, Ubers, and Lyfts. Recently, The View co-host talked about insurance companies on air when she said her husband operates on someone even if they don't have insurance, and then he'll go back and sue health insurance companies to find some way to get paid for the work.
Wait, hold on. Let Sunny get in here.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. We know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So
just imagine if she had shut her mouth. See, some things you don't have to say, but some things she already on her own exposed it. And whose fault is it? This is what happens when you don't know how to keep quiet.
Health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So there are a lot of problems with it.
Now, let's get into the allegations. This case, one of the largest in New York history, was filed on December 17, 2024. Sunny's husband is not only being accused of federal insurance fraud, but he's also receiving kickbacks, according to the documents in this case. The insurance company alleges that Dr. Hostin will bill them for these surgeries, and in return, receive illegal kickbacks disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. Specifically, it's claimed that Dr. Hostin had a financial interest in the Empire State Ambulatory Surgery Center. That's where many of these surgeries were performed. The lawsuit states that he referred patients to the center and received payments in exchange. And then the most diabolical claim, Dr. Hostin is accused of performing surgeries on people who didn't even need them just to make money off them. The plaintiff highlights cases where patients involved in minor fender bender accidents underwent surgery almost immediately without being given a chance to recover through less invasive treatments. The company alleges this type of overtreatment was part of a widespread scheme designed to inflate medical costs and insurance payouts. So they're saying a patient will come in and the first thing he will recommend is surgery, choosing the most invasive treatment, which is also the most expensive treatment. Even for those who didn't need it, all to fatten his own pockets, and then hit the patients with six-figure surgery bills and argue back and forth with the insurance company to make them pay for it. Then,
can you imagine? We've even seen this in the movies. Now, imagine people. Oh, wow, just wow. So, I don't want to say something, but this looks really, really interesting. So this is what her husband is allegedly doing. But if it were somebody else, and you know who, if it were somebody else, they would, or she would, be all over, and it would be the constant topic over and over again. But imagine, her husband, the same Sunny that just discovered that her great grandparents, or she came from the lineage of slavery, where her great grandparents owned slaves. But I mean, she's still the one that still cries victim and all that. And now the husband is here, allegedly.
Whatever insurance paid out, he got that money plus kickbacks from the surgery center he pushed all of his patients to. Not only is this a sinister level of greed, but can you imagine sending people into these risky invasive surgeries, not because it was the best option for them, but because it was the best option for your business that needed more cash? Then 2, charging them all this money, $100,000, $200,000 for these surgeries, hoping the insurance company will pay for it, and you already know what will happen if insurance didn't pay. That means you'll be leaving these vulnerable patients with 6-figure, not because it was the best option for them, but because it was the best option for your business that needed more cash. Then 2, charging them all this money, $100,000, $200,000 for these surgeries, hoping the insurance company will pay for it, and you already know what will happen if insurance didn't pay. That means you'll be leaving these vulnerable patients with 6-figure medical bills. That's crazy work. On top of these greedy doctors getting kickbacks and millions of dollars from these invasive surgeries, you have another factor that seems to be working hand in hand with these medical scams. At the heart of the issue is New York's no-fault law, which aims to ensure swift medical treatment for car accident victims. However, the law's generous payout limits, especially for commercial vehicles like taxis and ride shares, have allegedly made the system a target for fraud. Critics say some medical providers take advantage by overdiagnosing, overtreating, and overbilling, driving up premiums for hardworking drivers, and destabilizing the insurance market. And let me tell you, this is happening all over the country, not just New York State. You have a lot of folks scamming commercial drivers in the trucking industry as well, driving up insurance rates. That's been a problem for years now. But in this case, American Transit, the plaintiff, claims it's paid out hundreds of millions of dollars due to fraudulent schemes like the one it alleges Dr. Hostin participated in. The company is now seeking $450 million in damages to recover its losses. So yeah, again, this is very serious. It's a really big case, one of the largest RICO cases ever filed in New York. I don't know, I wonder if the resident lawyer of The View will cover this story and need some legal notes to go along with it too. Sunny is not only a co-host on The View, but she's a senior legal correspondent and analyst for ABC News. The lawyer and former prosecutor is no stranger to sharing details about her family life on The View. She often speaks about her marriage to Manny and their 2 children, presenting a polished and principled image. However, the allegations against her husband could challenge that narrative. Critics are pointing out the irony of Sunny's public moral stance, while her husband faces accusations of participating in unethical and illegal practices. We have to talk about this lifestyle they created by allegedly scamming insurance companies. They live in a 10-bedroom, 10-bathroom estate in Purchase, New York. No wonder Sunny seems to be disconnected with everyday working people. She's been living in these elite circles as one of the most prominent members of the Black sorority, aka as a Puerto Rican woman whose family owned slaves that they try to cover up by pretending to be the biggest freedom fighters in America. It's all fake and fraudulent, just like the insurance fraud her husband is now being accused of. Sunny is 56 years old. She's been married to the doctor since 1998. They have 2 adult children, 18 and 22, that they've been able to put through college from these alleged kickbacks and insurance scams. The couple met at church in Maryland in 1996. That's where they both lived at the time. That same year, Dr. Hostin graduated from Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, and they went on to tie the knot in 1998. Sunny frequently brings up her husband and children during conversations on The View, especially when discussing topics related to healthcare. She often positions herself as the show's unofficial medical expert, likely because her husband is a doctor, giving the impression that she knows everything about that industry as well. So Sunny, tell us, how much do you know about these allegations of insurance fraud and these kickbacks? Did you know about this too? Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. We're talking about Sunny from The View. Her husband is now a defendant in one of the largest RICO cases in New York. Tell me what you think about this below.
I'm surprised. What the question I just want to ask is she gonna be representing her husband as the lawyer this time? Because since she seemed to know lots of things and others, but what is even interesting is the fact that this is a husband, yeah, and is facing this RICO case so far. If it were to be somebody, and you know who, let's say if it were to be Trump, or if it were to be somebody on the Republican side or the conservative side, we wouldn't have heard anything because on The View, it would be like a continuous topic over and over again. And let's not forget that she is the exact same one that keeps crying victim or playing the victim narrative and all that, living in a 10 bedroom mansion. Is there any regular person that lives in a 10 bedroom mansion? I kid you not. But she lives there. She lives in that kind of apartment. I mean, it's not even afford that she can afford it. But the fact that she thinks that she can connect or relate with the everyday people is what is mind blowing, is what is not making sense. But I've got a question and I need an honest answer. Is she going to be representing her husband as the lawyer? Because I mean, she's a lawyer. I remember there was a time when she said she wants to put on a legal hat on. But let me know what you think so far, because this is quite interesting. I mean, this is not even the first time we've heard of this. I mean, we've even seen this in the movies. Lots of people talk about it, and sometimes some of these are buried, and some of them you would never hear of this. But I mean, she also talking about this on The View. Like sometimes it's best to just keep your mouth shut, whether it is true or not. Keep your mouth shut because you really do not know. But she now, because of excessive talking, now resulted here. Who knows? But I love your thoughts and your contribution in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next.